Okay, so hello, y'all. I'm just here to unpack some thoughts, and I was thinking about, as usual, technology, humanity, our intelligence, its intelligence, who's smarter, what are we doing, all of that stuff. And it occurred to me that there are some things, or I believe there are some things that simply cannot be done without the human analog brain. And part of I think a lot of people want to understand this thing called the law of attraction. And it is a completely fascinating subject matter because it dives into the realm of metaphysics and quantum physics and energy physics in general. And it's based on the rule, I suppose, the principal rule that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred from one place to another. And so when you sort of think about that and you move into something like the law of attraction, the way energy moves is what you focus on comes into view. In order to understand what that one sentence means, what you focus on comes into view, there are so many layers of understanding. Principally, understanding what is it that you focus on with your intention. So, what it comes down to is if you have no clue what your intention is, if you do not know who you are, what you're doing here, what this is about, what makes you tick, what triggers you, why it triggers you, how you can regulate how that triggers you and how you function, it'll be very difficult to become accurate, how shall I say, transmitters and receivers of energy. So, when we talk about the law of attraction, we can't talk about the law of attraction until we talk about the awareness that is what we are. So, are we a physical body having a temporary, mystical, spiritual, exciting experience? Or are we spirit having a temporary physical one? Or is everything happening all at once? So, understanding the law of attraction means we need to understand what it is and how it is that we are attracting what we do. And that means all life. Why do the clouds settle like this, We discover and we learn all kinds of things through science. We discover and learn all kinds of things just through tactile experience of the world, right? We also discover and experience almost everything in that tactile world through our thoughts and our emotions, our perceptions, our interpretations. When it comes to talking about what you focus on comes into view. Your thoughts, well, they say energy follows thought, and thoughts are drawn or brought out through our feelings, through our emotions, through the emotional center. Therefore, we cannot possibly be experiencing the day-to-day world that we do, our reality, without some kind of existential participation. And that existential participation seems random until you begin to take a look at different patterns in nature. Again, always holding the idea of the law of attraction. What you focus on comes into view. We already know from science that if we are not actually physically looking at the field the way we are right now, this beautiful mountain range, when I turn my back or what is behind me is like a black screen or a fuzzy screen, right? So sort of getting into the mastery of understanding the laws of nature and the principal law, one of the principal laws being the law of attraction, is that everything has, for every action, there is an equal and opposing reaction. Okay? Again, think. What we focus on comes into view. If energy follows thought, our thoughts are focused on what the emotion is that is motivating us to think that thought that grabs our attention. We immediately associate a meaning, a feeling. If we meet someone on the street, if we see something happening on television, if we look in the mirror, if we go for a walk in nature, it doesn't matter. We're always reacting interacting, exchanging. We're always in some kind of even unconscious consciousness is always in some type of engaging, exchanging, receiving, transmitting. There is no like point of end. There is a 0 point where it comes in and out, in and out. And this actually has to do with the law of attraction. However, understanding how that works, the mechanics behind it all, cannot possibly come about until you as an individual understand body, mind, spirit alignment. Understand that you create this reality based on what you think, feel, and believe. What you focus on comes into view. If you do not like what you are seeing or what you are experiencing or what you are perceiving, one has to simply change the direction of their mind to take them in another direction. But if you continuously walk in circles, seeing and experiencing that which does not serve your highest and best, that keeps you in a sense of victim consciousness, it becomes very difficult to understand, where the source of this is coming from. 9.99999 out of 10 times, it comes out of something called fear, right? We live off of fear. I say to people all the time, I don't understand why people are searching for love, because love is already what you are. I don't see the common denominator because, there's only two things that are true. We are born and we die, and what happens in between is completely up to us. It is not random. So there are no guarantees that you will experience love. But I can say, common denominator, trying to figure out what it is that you're learning, think about it. The one common denominator that ties all life together is at some point in time you will experience fear, because fear is the basis program that we need, like the primal program that we need to help us make decisions. We need to make decisions between right and wrong, good and bad. And that is also a very intrinsic thing. It is not a question that the law of attraction, the universe, judges between what is morally or ethically correct versus what is morally or ethically wrong. No, it's a very impersonal thing. There are rules to how this works, and that is why when I say what you focus on comes into view, that's a huge, huge statement to unpack within self. And therein lies the secret to the beginning of understanding the mechanics behind your emotional algorithm. Understanding what triggers you based on what you're focusing on. Then you begin to see a pattern, and if you want to undo or change that pattern, you need to change the focus. Changing the focus, yes, in some ways is just as simple as just changing what you're looking at, switching the thoughts in your mind, definitely, and doing so until it produces a more harmonious feeling. And so what this is really you figuring out who you are. What makes you tick? What do you like? What you don't like? What kind of world do you want to live in? What kind of person do you want to be? Go be it. Act it. Create it. That's what we are. We are co-creators with the law of attraction. Easier said than done. It's a huge subject to, go through, which is, again, going back to, my first comment. And that was, there are some things that only humans can do for themselves. The being itself, even an artificial intelligent program, it's working for itself. It's learning for itself based on the data that it can gather. And then it's making decisions based on that information. You are no different than the artificial intelligence. We just consider ourselves organic intelligence. Artificial intelligence can be programmed to learn. So can human intelligence. For whatever reason, a lot of humans just don't believe it because they see machines doing things at an incredible pace. I think that's probably the difference between humans and machines is we've placed so much attention in them. We've worked to make them think faster, do faster, develop faster, instead of putting that same effort into the organic machine. So there you have it. Law of attraction. Much more to it than meets the eye. It's not about making a wish. I mean, you can, and randomly, it's like a crapshoot, in gambling. Maybe yes, maybe no, your wish will come true, but if you would like to be the wish, for so in truth you are, then understanding oneself, practicing mindfulness, focusing on knowing what your intention is, and going with that definitely will put you